Hi everyone, and welcome to week 6 of the Facebook ads course for business. What we're looking at here in week 6 is e-commerce. So we're looking at your catalogs, we're looking how you're going to sell things in the retail environment. Some service elements can be included here too, and also how you can leverage that in your organic side of things as well, like tagging products and things like that. So we're going to go through all of the setup and of everything you need for e-commerce on the Facebook platform. So just a quick introduction to e-commerce adverts on Facebook. So the Facebook catalogs are a container that holds information about the items that you want to advertise or sell across Facebook and Instagram. So it's like a holding place where all your products are listed. It's like an inventory catalog essentially. You can create different catalogs for different types of inventory. So you can have products, you can have retail, you can have all of your products and then them segmented into lots of different product sets. You could look at service elements too, if that's included. So you can also look at hotels, flights, destinations, home listings, and vehicles. Think of Facebook catalog as an extension of your website for the sale of your products. Or in some cases services, especially if you're based in the US, there's some additional benefits to this. There are some additional features, I should say, that are beneficial. If you're outside the US, you are forced to send everyone to your website, and we'll discuss that a little bit further here now as well. So the first thing that you need to think about is, are my products compliant with Facebook's advertising policies? They have a pretty good net in terms of picking these things up. Products are put in the sin bin pretty quickly. You have to request reviews all the time. Even if your products are pretty compliant, you would still want to check the advertising policies. You would be often surprised at what's included there. Things like supplements are very difficult to advertise using the catalog feature and things like that. So totally worth checking out their advertising policies on the catalog side of things. Do you want people to check out on Facebook and Instagram or on your website? So this is a feature unique to US audiences. So if you're based in the US, you can set up a checkout process that is on platform. So people never go to your website. They just see your product and purchase it there and then on Facebook and Instagram. You have to have a US bank account, a US address. You have to have US tax information and all of that stuff to set up that process. It is not available if you're outside the US. In that case, you're forced to send them to your website. But if you're in the US, you have the option to send them to your website as well, potentially Facebook and Instagram. I'm not sure what their cut is, but they obviously take a cut of that purchase as well. So sometimes it might be more beneficial to send them to the website, but Facebook and Instagram may give you more volume because it's on platform and there's less steps and all of that. Do you have products on your site that you do not want in your Facebook ads? So you need to think about that and remove them accordingly from this process. And are you looking for one-off or recurring purchases? Again, this is nuanced to your business type and your customers and your customer behavior and what you're looking for out of the platform as well. And lastly, is your pixel installed correctly? So that's a hugely important part of this process. If your pixel isn't installed correctly, it can cause havoc in your catalog. If things are out of stock, it's not going to update correctly, and all of that really needs to be monitored. And the pixel is the best way to do that in the background for you, as opposed to you going in every single day and updating stock levels and all of that. You don't want that. The more seamless and integrated this process is, just makes your life easier. It just means the information is correct on the platform. It means your adverts are running with the correct information as well. So you need to be keeping an eye on the full ecosystem there, and the pixel is the best way to do that. So you need to make sure that it is installed correctly during this process as well. So just some best practice. Again, the pixel. Make sure you're familiar with your e-commerce platform. It doesn't really matter whether it's Shopify, WooCommerce, all of them integrate pretty seamlessly. What you do need some familiarity with it. You want to think strategically in advance in terms of exclusion points and inclusion points for your audience. And this is particularly important, especially if you are in the space where you have recurring customers. That's great, but if someone purchases something, maybe consider blocking them in a 14-day window so that they get a chance to receive the item before ordering again. They're not going to order until the first thing arrives. So little things like that you need to think about. You want to be giving your ads a little extra time to adjust. The dynamic element of product ads just needs a little bit more time. So if this doesn't kick off hit the ground running in week one, I wouldn't worry too much. It does need time to settle. It needs even more time to settle because it's dynamic, and it needs even additional time at the moment because of the iOS changes. So just think about that and the amount of time required there. And you also want to think about your different product sets. So if you're segmenting your products into, say, for example, you're a retailer who sells lots of different beauty products aimed at women, we'll say, for example, and it's perfume, jewelry, and some clothing. You might want to segment those into those categories accordingly. That's just a baseline example. You know your business best in terms of how you want to segment your products if you need to do that step. Here are some examples of products that you can't sell: unregulated supplements. Pretty much any supplement ends up in this category when you try to run it. It's interesting because if you run supplements in the category or in the catalog ads, they get banned pretty much straight away. But if you create a creative and roll it out, it doesn't seem to pick up on it. So just be careful with the catalog there. I see that's probably the one I see most frequently, is like even vitamin D and, you know, anything like that. Adult products as well. That's why sometimes that maternity clothing company that I work with has difficulty, because it sometimes can appear to be adult products. Surveillance equipment, counterfeit products, health products before and after. So weight loss, anything like showing like extreme weight loss, or any weight loss for that matter, or weight increase, or changes in someone's personal attributes or appearance before and after are not allowed. Controversial products go without saying, and then weapons, drugs, tobacco, pharmaceuticals, all of that, you cannot use this ecosystem for that type of product. So when you're going to set up your catalog, again, it's the 9 dots here, sometimes it's 3 lines, and again, you're looking at Commerce Manager. Due to updates from Facebook, some users are seeing Commerce Manager here, and some are seeing it way down this list, but you'll find this under here anyway. So this is where to find it. You want to go to Commerce Manager. Catalog permissions have changed. So you also need to make sure that the people who you want to have access to this have access to it, and you have to manually do that within Commerce Manager. You'll see that within there as well. So if you're having difficulties accessing your Commerce Manager, potentially your account was set up by an agency and they need to give you access. So if you can't get in, that's probably the issue. So just flagging that there as well. When you get into the catalog, this is exactly what you see. You need to get started, choose your checkout method, and go through this process. So first things first, if you have a store on a platform that is a partner with Facebook, you can just synchronize it easily using these options step-by-step guides. So you can see here the little Shopify logo. I assume that's BigCommerce. They integrate with many. So you can just set that up and integrate it really quickly, especially if you're on Shopify. It's a seamless process. If you don't have that, you can start going through the process of additional options, where you can upload lists, or you can start doing some manual code additions to track your product list and things like that. So check what supplier you're with in terms of your web host. Is it Shopify? What are you using for e-commerce, and work from there. So you can see here then choosing your checkout method is next. So there you go, checkout on your website. This option will bring users. So this option will bring users to the product landing page on your site. This one, again, only available to US businesses. That's the checking out with Facebook and Instagram. Fingers crossed they roll that out globally soon, because it's a great addition. And this one down here is your checkout with messaging. This option is beneficial if there's a lead time process, but requires a lot of monitoring, really. So do you want people to send you messages and check out from there? You can use that option as well, but that is very nuanced to a small number of businesses, I would estimate. The next thing you want to look at is the option to click on the correct Facebook page and Instagram page to connect your account. So if you are a user who has multiple accounts, you just want to make sure they're being tracked to the correct person. And this is important, as you can use this feature for the organic element of your strategy then. So if they're connected to your Facebook page and your Instagram profile, then you can start tagging your products accordingly. So if you have, say, an influencer who's taking photos for you, or a model, and you're taking those photos and you're uploading them organically on Instagram, let's say, and it's earrings, then you can tag the earrings as a product, and that's how this is the process of setting that up. Then when you're inside in the ecosystem, you have a few different key things that you want to keep an eye on. So down here is events, and this is where higher level tracking issues can be resolved. So that is what you are thinking about when it comes to the Facebook pixel, making sure that things are being tracked accurately. Over here, you have your dynamic ads, which ensures that there are no issues with some of your products. You can also request reviews accordingly. So unmet data requirements or policy violations. You can see some issues here. And over here, this option here will allow you to create your segments of your products. So you can create sets of different products. So you can see this is a catalog here. All of the items are up here, and I can create sets of them here. You have all of this other information that has been imported from your website, such as the availability, condition, brand, category, price, sets, all of that good stuff. You can also take a look around all of these different options, but these are the key ones once your products import that you want to take a look at. The next thing that you want to look at is promoting it. So you're looking at ads. Sorry, this red box should be a little higher, but this ads section here, so that's where you're looking at getting started. And you can also look at your shops here as well. So your shops is where you're kind of making that shop element a little bit more unique on your organic side of things. So that's your Facebook page and your Instagram account. Up here is the ads. I would highly recommend not setting up an ad through this process from your catalog manager. I would go back to your ads manager to set up a catalog campaign. So just make sure that you are, you can see the option here, fine, but potentially create it elsewhere, because you don't want traffic ads necessarily. You might want nice conversion ads, which are actually going to sell your products. So just make sure to look at that. And again, your shops, that's just about making that shop experience a little bit more unique for you and your customers, and just making it a little bit more brand aligned, positioning things correctly and things like that. So this is what it looks like then on the organic side of things once you have a shop set up. So the left is Facebook, the right is Instagram, a star product up here at the top, and just more from the shop and things like that. So it looks pretty good. You can have a little look on the organic side. Take an eye on it, and you can see how that's going to preview for people who want to use that option organically on your accounts. And this is what it looks like essentially when it's on your accounts. So advertising your shop, again, this is where you get started. Do not click that ads button inside in your catalog manager. It just causes confusion, I find, more so than anything. You can come back to your ads manager, hit create new campaign, and hit catalog sales. So that's what you're looking for, catalog sales. Once you've done that, you get through to your new ad set, essentially. So you can create an offer with it if you want. If you've created a product set, you can retrieve it here as well. So this little red line should be coming up a little higher. But your store collection of all products here. So if you created some sets, you can mix and match it there. And then over here on the right, you see that you have a slightly different setup to what is familiar with all other campaign setups in terms of creating an audience. You can see here you can retarget ads to people who have interacted with your products on and off Facebook. Now, remember here, on and off Facebook is where you have that impact from iOS 14. So if it's on Facebook they interacted, they are within you have the full audience. If it is off Facebook, so they clicked on an advert, they've opted out of tracking, they've ended up on your website, that's where you're going to run into some problems with retargeting. So just to be aware of that in terms of your audience sizes, make sure that you have the UTM parameters that we talked about set up as well. But you can see here you have lots of different options. You can retarget based on they viewed or added to cart but didn't purchase in the last 14 days. Added to cart but not purchase, upsell, cross-sell, custom combination. So you have all of these different options here. This option will allow you to use a previously saved audience. So if you want to just not use this functionality and go back to like the original format of how these are set up, you can just use a saved audience that you've already created. You can also switch to normal audience setup process here by find prospective customers, even if they haven't interacted with your business, instead of retargeting. And these options are unique to catalog adverts, and the maximum recall here is 180 days if it's off platform data. And you can also further expand using this feature. So you could say anyone who's viewed in the last 14 days, and also people who are in this particular saved audience. Maybe it's a custom upload list. Maybe it's something else that you've already got in your audience manager. So you can expand, you can use this and this. And you can also, don't forget, your exclusion points are extremely important here as well. So this will allow you lots of flexibility in the structuring of your audience, how you're going to go about that. It's a lot of if this, then that. You need to make those lists. If someone has done this, they don't need to do this. If they've done this, then they also need to do this. So you have to think of all these different steps as well. You also want to change the defaults. Any Facebook manager who picks up the phone and rings you will argue for automatic placements. So you want to make sure that it is, changed to manual placements. Typically the Facebook feed and Instagram feed are the most highly converting. So this is especially important if you have a smaller business. You're restricted by budget. Look at the manual placements. Again, like I spoke about previously, look at the things that might just annoy people. Automatic placements can be a budget drainer, I find. I've still not tested it and found it to be outperforming manual placements. So that's what I look at. I don't care if the Facebook person rings me and says it's best practice. If I'm not seeing the numbers, I'm not seeing the numbers. The other thing here is that this red box again should be a little bit higher. Not sure why my slides have distorted, but this option here where you see link clicks, you want to default that to conversions. You don't want link clicks, you want conversions typically. So make sure that your optimization for ad delivery is conversions if you're looking for conversions. If you are looking for link clicks or landing page views, by all means optimize for that. But if you're looking for conversions, you need to click on this and optimize accordingly. Then there's the creative process. So there's lots of different things here. You can just use the standard images or allow Facebook to create, to make the creative elements more dynamic. So you see here you have this dynamic set. I find those really, really good. So I would recommend using it unless your images get really distorted on using it. You have this element which is dynamic and will change depending on the product. So you can see the name here, that will change depending on the product. And that comes in here. So you can see here product name and product price is what I've chosen here. But you could manually put in what you want to say there, or if there's a discount code or anything like that, you can add in there, or you can add it in the description underneath. Your website URL is not where everyone goes. They land on the product you choose. So this red line here should be up here, but this website URL you can put in your own homepage really, because anytime someone clicks on a product, they'll be sent directly to that product page. They're not just being sent to your homepage. This is if they reach the end, so it's a carousel. So if they each reach the end of your products and there's nothing more for them to view and they just want to navigate to your website, and this is the URL that they will go to, like learn more or view more at the end, so or shop more. So you have lots of different things here. And then over here, this drop down here, that will be where you're getting information that is dynamic elements from your website. So your brand, retailer, anything that has been imported into the catalog, essentially in terms of descriptors, you can just select those. So that's where product name and product price came from this little plus sign in that drop down list. But what you can manually you can clear, you can like drag your mouse across these and delete them and just manually type in what you want there as well. So that's important to look at too. This is what dynamic advertising looks like in practice. So the top row here is dynamic. Again, these have moved down. So the dynamic catalog ads, and these are standard remarketing ads. So you can see here the volume and the return on ad spend difference here. The CPM is a little bit higher on the dynamic, but the product is more likely relevant. Less link clicks and less landing page views, you can see there as well. But again, we're looking for the purchase conversion value and the return on ad spend. So it is performing better on this account, but this is how you can assess it against your standard remarketing ads if you want to do a test against dynamic catalog ads as well, if that's probably the most popular feature. But this is one test, and there's many out there that you can run to assess this for your business. This is an extremely high return on ad spend. This was in the height of lockdown. So it's a little bit skewed, but it's still higher. It's still accurate in terms of the volume and all the rest of it. So just make sure to have an assessment of that as well. There are some cases where you don't want to use dynamic catalog ads if they're not as effective with smaller product numbers. So if you only have 10 products, it's not going to be great. Carousels are a better option in this instance. They look the same and you have a little bit more creative control. If your products are not overly diverse, it may not be wild either in comparison to a standard setup. So this is where you have lots of products to sell, and that's what you're looking at here. So you do need to reconsider some other advertising setups if you fall into these categories as well. Some important things to remember: catalog adverts import the creative for your website. So updating these creatives within the Facebook ecosystem will not work. The images will be removed and website ones reestablished each time the feed is updated. So remember that Pixel is doing everything for you. Your integration is doing all that work for you. So if you update a picture on the website, it'll automatically update in your Facebook catalog. But if you update an image on Facebook, as soon as the feed is updated, you lose that change. Dynamic ads are the best for catalog adverts. It ensures the best possible that the correct person is seeing the correct advert. So with the dynamic element, you want to make sure that they're seeing it in a visually pleasing way, and also that they are seeing the correct product that they've viewed in the past. And these are fantastic for marketing campaigns. Really think about them strategically for cross-selling and upselling. Like obviously this is impacted by iOS 14 because they are remarketing if they've hit your website, but you might have more success for this in a US context where you've been selling on platform and there has been some on platform data for you to use and build up and leverage there as well. So think strongly about your on and offline data there as well. So thanks so much for reaching week 6. Next week we're going to be doing a little bit of a bonus session. If you have any Q&A from this session or any of the classes you've attended, feel free to reach out to me at jennagrowthuniversity.io. More than happy to help. If you're a member, feel free to ping me on Slack as well. We can go through some of the problems that you might be having in your Facebook ads as well. Thanks again for joining me on week 6. See you next week.